So maybe it's because it's been raining all day long that I just want to do this. We are bringing a Groudon Sun team to the Reg G ranked ladder. Groudon here has the potential to do a lot of damage from a Howl boost off of a Gouging Fire, so we are going to try to pair the two of those Pokemon together. But that's not the only thing here that makes this a Sun team. We have Chlorophyll, Shiftry on the team to cause a little bit of disruptions for my opponents, potentially. Shiftry here gets access to Defog, and Defog is very fun because it blows away Reflect and Light Screen from the opponent's side of the field. It also hits the target for a -1 evasion drop, which is a great means of fixing up Groudon's accuracy problem with Precipice Blades. So having a -1 evasion is going to be relatively nice to hit my opponents with coming off of Groudon, or rather my opponents having that evasion drop is going to be delightful. So we do have access to Defog, and since Shiftry is going to be so fast, thanks to Chlorophyll, it can go for a Tailwind, and then that way that can turn on the speed mode for the entire team if I don't want to bring Tornadus, or if something happens that I just don't want to lead it next to Shiftry. We have Leaf Storm on Shiftry to do a big burst of damage, and then we can just get Shiftry out of there. We have Terra Ghost if we're worried about fake outs, and then we have the Focus Sash to make sure that we can get off either Tailwind or Defog just to help the rest of the team. So as I mentioned too, we do have the Howl on Gouging Fire. What we also have here is Bulldoze. Bulldoze is a very fun attack because we can make sure the entire field just gets a little bit slower. We can either protect Groudon so that Groudon just doesn't take the chip damage, or we just rely on the fact that Groudon is holding the Clear Amulet, so Groudon just doesn't care about that speed drop to begin with. We have Rock Slide and Precipice Blades, as well as Heat Crash for damaging moves on Groudon, so we're looking to do some major damage. We can pop that Terra Fire, benefit from getting Stab on our Heat Crash, and doubling up with our Sun Boost to make sure that Heat Crash just does a lot of damage coming off of Groudon, and Gouging Fire will also benefit from that as well. With the Sun, we can't go for the double up onto the Stab Fire because we have Terra Fairy on Gouging Fire, but that is going to provide a nice defensive utility for Gouging Fire to not have to worry about Draco Meteors coming off of either Miraidon or Raging Bolt, because Raging Bolt gives Gouging Fire a little bit of a hard time, but the Terra Fairy should help patch that up. And then we have Tornadus here with Bleakwind Storm to also take a little bit of advantage of the fact that Shiftry can also lower the evasion with Defog. We have Sunny Day to manually set the sun if we need to. We have Tailwind as well for Tornadus. We have Iron Moth here with Terra, Grass here, and Solar Beam, because that is a nice fun way of synergizing with the Sun too. We can pop the Terra Grass, get Stab on our Solar Beam, and with the Sun active, whether it's through Groudon or Tornadus, we can just cut that 2-turn charge into a single turn and just immediately fire the Solar Beam. We have Booster Energy here to ensure that Iron Moth gets a speed boost from its Quark Drive, then that way we don't have to worry about running into Miraidon and getting Electric Terrain that way to get our Quark Drive boost. We have Sludge Wave for some nice poison type damage, and we also have Heat Wave, which will naturally provide some nice spread damage for Iron Moth, but will also benefit from the Sun as well. And finally, we have Choice Band Annihilape. Choice Band Annihilape just absolutely decimates things. We have Close Combat to just absolutely obliterate anything that's weak to fighting. We have Shadow Claw just for some generic ghost type coverage that will benefit from Stab. We have U-Turn to pivot out Annihilape, and then we have Gunk Shot to hit those pesky fairies or those dragons that turn into fairies. So we do have that, and plus, as I mentioned, for both the Bleakwind Storm and the Precipice Blades, we have Defog to help out with that accuracy on Gunk Shot. So that's the team in a nutshell. Let's jump on into the battles. Alright, we've got a Zamazenta team here with Rillaboom, Chenpao, Fluttermane, Chandelure, and Galarian Moltres. So the Zamazenta could be a little bit of a problem for Groudon, but if we get that Howl boost, that could be really nice at the end of the day. I'm liking the Terra Fire for the Chenpao. I'm liking the Precipice Blades for the Chandelure. I am not liking the fact that Fluttermane is going to get a speed boost off of Groudon, but they might be booster energy, so that might not be the worst thing imaginable at the end of the day. I think what we could potentially do here is we could potentially lead Groudon, and maybe we can lead Shiftry, get the Tailwind up if we need it. Tailwind plus Precipice Blades could be nice. Tailwind plus Heat Crash could be nice as well. And plus, we do have Rock Slide to hit Chandelure for super effective damage, so there is that. So maybe we'll bring the Shiftry and Groudon. We can bring Gouging Fire in the back. If something goes horribly wrong, we can always just switch in Gouging Fire. And then Annihilape could be nice as well. We do have that Choice Band to do a lot of damage. Iron Moth might not be terrible either. Having some special attacks could be really nice too, because, you know, Zamazenta. So I'm kind of torn between Annihilape for the Ghost immunity to the Body Press, or we go for the Iron Moth for the special attacks. But, you know, I think we're going to bring the Annihilape. And then that way, too, if something horrible happens to Groudon, we can always Tailwind with Shiftry and bring in the Annihilape. So we can do something like that instead. So there is that plan. And I do like being immune to Body Press with Annihilape. So that could be really good. And then that way, we don't necessarily have to worry about Terra on Annihilape. So it's going to be Chien-Pao Rillaboom. Definitely not good for my Groudon at all, but Terra Fire Groudon could be really nice at the end of the day, and I kind of want the Terra Fire. I think what we could potentially see is a Fake Out into the Shiftry. So maybe what I'll do here is maybe I'll protect Groudon and just switch in Gouging Fire, and then that way I have my Protosynthesis, and then I can go for the Howl. And then that way I don't have to burn my Terra immediately. So I think maybe that's what we can do. And plus, Gouging Fire should be able to take an Icicle Crash at the end of the day. So I don't think I have to worry about that. And the other thing is unlike Ice Spitter, Icicle Crash isn't completely accurate. So I might even be able to dodge an Icicle Crash. So there is that. And Terra Fire Groudon, like I said, that could be really good for dealing with this Rillaboom. Chien-Pao is actually going to protect. Okay, so they were probably expecting a Fake Out off of Shiftry, because Shiftry is faster. So maybe Rillaboom just went for damage into Groudon. No, they just went for U-turn. Okay, so that's great. No Fake Out. Now I can go for Howl. I'm still weak to Chien-Pao with Groudon, but what I can do is I can go for the Heat Crash into that, or I can go for a Precipice Blades and just try to hit both Pokemon on my opponent's side of the field. It's going to be Flutter Mane coming out here, so, you know, Terra Fire still doesn't look bad at all because I can just get the extra damage. Now, the nice thing here, too, is out of both of these Pokemon, only one of them can be holding the Focus Sash. So I think what we're going to do here is I think we're going to pop the Terra Fire. I think we're going to go for the Heat Crash into the Chien-Pao since we saw Protect off of it last turn. And I think we're just going to go for the Howl to get our attack boost. And we can always get Shiftry in for a late-game Fake-Out, which is not terrible, or we can go for a late-game Tailwind. We're not seeing Terra off of the Chien-Pao, so that can be really nice. So if they're not Focus Sash on Chien-Pao, this should be a knockout between the Stab, Heat Crash, and the super effective damage. So we're going to see an Icy Wind, not the worst thing imaginable. Gouging Fire should be naturally faster than Groudon, even without the booster energy. So, or I guess the Sun Boost. So we should still get our Howl off. We're going to get our Citrus Berry, get a little bit of HP back, which that's the other thing too is because we're not booster energy, we can actually afford to run the Citrus Berry for some HP. So there is that. And now Groudon's going to hit this Chien-Pao, and we can find out if it's Sashed Flutter Mane or if it's Sashed Chien-Pao. And what I really like here is the fact that I can now go for that Flutter Mane and try to get some big damage off. Burning Bulwark off of Gouging Fire might be okay this turn, and then that way we can survive what Flutter Mane and Chien-Pao want to do to it. And honestly, a Rock Slide could be good right here too, since it's a little bit more reliable than Precipice Blades. I think Chien-Pao might protect. I think. We saw an Icy Window to the Flutter Mane, so I think I'm going to go for the spread option, and then that way too, I can just try to get the Flutter Mane knocked out. We'll go for the Burning Bulwark just to preserve Gouging Fire. So there is the Chien-Pao Protect, so we might even just see Protect off Flutter Mane as well. So We don't, because Fluttermane should be faster than the Gouging Fire, thanks to the Icy Wind drop. Oh! Thunder Wave! That I was not expecting off of a Fluttermane, but you know what? Fine by me. We went for the Precipice Blades. If we connect with Fluttermane, that should be a good good knockout. So we do have that. Alright, so plus one Groudon is really nice right here, but Rillaboom can come in and fake out. So what I could do is maybe I could go Rock Slide with Groudon and Heat Crash with Gouging Fire. Or I could just double up into the Rillaboom, possibly. So we could do something like that. Preserving Groudon for the Sun for Shiftry could be nice too. Zamazenta's coming out here, so we haven't seen Terra off of my opponent, so maybe what we do here is we go for the Heat Crash into the... Maybe we go with the Heat Crash with the Groudon, and we go for the Burning... Or not the Burning Bulwark, the Bulldoze with Gouging Fire, and then that way we can try to slow down the Zamazenta, and then that way too, while Groudon won't be outspeeding it, Annihilape should, which will be really nice at the end of the day. So, we're going to see the Terra. I'm 99% sure this is Zamazenta. I don't think you burn it at the amount of HP Chen Pao's at. So, Terra Dragon. Alright. That's not a Terra I was expecting to see off the Zamazenta, but I can live with that. We're going to get Ice Crash into Gouging Fire, but Gouging Fire is going to take that. Ooh, but we are going to take a Body Press as well, so that's rather unfortunate. But if Groudon doesn't get paralyzed here, we can knock out the Chen Pao, so that's going to be really good at the end of the day. Now, Annihilape is immune to both Fake Out and Body Press right now, so Annihilape might be the best means of dealing with that Zamazenta. So, I think I go Fake Out into the Rillaboom, and I think I try to Heat Crash into it as well. Yeah, I think, well, I think what I could do is I could just go for the Precipice Blades into the Zamazenta, and I Fake Out with the Shiftry. We could do something like that, because I do need Groudon to get rid of Rillaboom for Annihilape at the end of the day, but I'm worried about getting paralyzed. So, what I could potentially do here is I could just Heat Crash the Rillaboom next turn. Zamazenta's just going for a Protect. Alright, so Shiftry's going to get the Fake Out, so that is nice in the bare minimum since Rillaboom can't attack. Now, I won't get the Precipice Blades, but if they have the Wide Guard, that might make them think to go for the Wide Guard next turn to protect Zamazenta. So, I think I can go for the Heat Crash. And, honestly, getting some speed for Annihilape could be really nice here, too. So, I think I go Heat Crash, and I think I go Tailwind. Shiftry is not going to be doing any damage to either of these Pokemon, unfortunately. But, if we can get some speed up for Groudon, that could be good. Honestly, Shiftry should be the second fastest thing. I think Zamazenta is going to be faster than it. But if Groudon can survive a double up from these two and hit the Rillaboom, that's going to be really nice at the end of the day, since Annihilape can come in and just start whittling down Zamazenta. So we do have that. And depending on what their other damaging move is, we might be able to just deal with it with Annihilape, because if they have Heavy Slam and Body Press, well, I don't dislike Zamazenta, or Zamazenta taking multiple Shadow Claws and getting the potential crit to wear through its defenses, so we do have that. Maybe. Shiftry also took a Body Press, so ooh, good to know that Groudon, even though it's paralyzed, is still faster than the Rillaboom with the Tailwind, so no more Rillaboom, that's great. So now it's just a matter of just trying to whittle down this Zamazenta. And yeah, we have Annihilape in the back, which is going to be really nice. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the... I think I'm going to go for the Precipice Blades. I think I'm just going to go for the Leaf Storm just to get a little bit of chip. Because I don't... Ooh, I just realized I could have defogged. Yeah, I could have defogged right there to help my Precipice Blades. But you know what? They gave me a body press instead, so we can fix that problem. Yeah, the Precipice Blades did some good damage, so I do like that. And we're going to show off the defog. So Defog is now going to lower Zamazenta's evasion one stage, which means the Precipice Blades is going to be fairly reliable. So assuming we don't lose Groudon to paralysis, that's going to be nice. All right, so that should be Shiftry range. I really like that. And we're going to bring in the Ape just so that Groudon doesn't take this body press. So we're going to withdraw Groudon. And Annihilape comes in here, eats the body press because we're a ghost. And then Shiftry, in theory, even at -2, should be enough to knock out Zamazenta. Or there's that. But you know what? That's fine. They're at -1 evasion. So Annihilape is in a very, very nice spot. And plus I have Tailwind. No, I don't. I lost Tailwind. But we're just going to click Close Combat. And we're going to reset the Tailwind. So... here comes the heavy slam into Annihilape. Yeah, that doesn't matter. We got this. We got this with the close combat. The Choice Banded close combat for the win. Goodbye, Zamazenta. Say no more. We have slain the dragon. It became the very thing it was meant to slay. Yeah. All right. That's enough about that. But I'm very happy with how the defog played out. I wish I had remembered to do it first, and then that way it wouldn't have been as risky going for that blind Precipice Blades. But we still did it. We still connected. So very happy with how Shiftry played out right there. Good game to my opponent. All right, we've got a Miraidon team here with Farigiraf. Ooh, Sceptile. You know, it's funny. I was actually thinking about Sceptile with Unburdened Electric Seed shenanigans, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so we also have Enamorous Therian, Ogerpon Wellspring, and Chi-Yu. Now, Shiftry could be really nice here, because what we could do is we can defog away the electric terrain. We could have Groudon go for a Precipice Blades. We can hit the Miraidon with the defog as well, and then Groudon should be able to just do some major damage to it. We could also just go for a Tailwind and go in blind that way too. We could potentially do that. Annihilape might not be the worst thing here. Torn might be really good. Ooh, you know, Iron Moth could be really nice too. Iron Moth could be really nice, and then that way what we could do is we could also go for the potential Miraidon lead, get our booster energy. We can defog it away. Yeah, I'm starting to like where this is going. We bring Groudon in the back, and do I want Gouging Fire? I kind of do, I kind of don't. Annihilape might be okay. I think we bring Torn. I think we bring Torn in the back, and then that way we have a guaranteed Tailwind with Prankster, so we do have that. Since Sceptile is going to be insanely fast, we're going to have to be very careful because we could potentially get an Unburdened boosted Sceptile, just absolutely nail Shiftry with an Acrobatics, which, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing imaginable, but at the same time, I'd rather not. Yeah, I'd rather not take that. As I'm pretty sure Unburdened Sceptile is going to be faster. So it is going to be Miraidon and Sceptile versus Shiftry and Iron Moth. Now, I don't have my Chlorophyll, but I do have Fake Out. So I think what I can do here is I can Fake Out the Sceptile, and I can go for the... I can't Sludge Wave next to Shiftry because that's going to be really bad, but what I could do is I can Fake Out the Sceptile and just deal with it that way, and I can go for some... I can try to go for some damage, maybe try to get rid of it with a Heat Wave off of the Iron Moth. So, we're not seeing Protect or Terra Ghost out of Sceptile here, so Sceptile is going to flinch. It's not Covert Cloak. We saw the Electric Seed, so we just straight up knock out Sceptile. That is wonderful. Now, if they attack into Iron Moth with Miraidon, great. No, they're just going to overheat into Shiftry. So, what I could do is I could remove that electric terrain by switching Iron Moth into Groudon and then just immediately going for the Defog. Now, they might just switch Miraidon out, which is okay. I think Shiftry falls back here. I think we're going to bring in Torn, and I think what we're going to do here is we're going to protect Iron Moth from Chi-Yu. Or I just go for the Heat Wave and just cut my losses and go for some damage. Because I can't Sludge Wave next to Shiftry. I can always protect with Torn and just do that with Iron Moth. Miraidon is staying in, which is interesting. So we're just going to get our Heat Wave off. We're going to get a little bit of damage into both of these. The Volt Switch is coming out into Iron Moth now, which is fine. I'm thinking a Fire type attack might have went into Torn, which is not great. Enamorus is coming in, so that's alright. I don't mind going for the... Ooh, you know what? I don't mind going for the Sludge Wave here. Since Torn is still here, and if we can get the Sludge Wave off and do some decent damage, that's great at the end of the day. Iron Moth is still going to be faster than Chi-Yu thanks to the Quark Drive, so I don't need the... whatchamacallit right now, the Sunny Day or the Tailwind, because I'm still faster. This is going to do a good chunk to both of them, so we're going to dodge Heat Wave with Torn thanks to Protect, and we also get to bring in Groudon. So now what we could do is we could Tailwind Rock Slide. Terra Fire could be really nice, but at the same time, we don't need it just yet, because we do have the Miraidon to be weary of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the raw Rock Slide, and I'm going to Tailwind, just to make sure that I outspeed both of them. And we'll go from there. Because we do need the ground typing to deal with Miraidon. But if I had gone Terra Fire, and then just brought in Shiftry, and then Defogged into Miraidon, I mean, same idea. We would have been able to deal with it that way, but... C'est la vie. It is what it is. Let's see. Okay, we don't get to hit Chi-Yu with the Rock Slide, but single target Rock Slide into an Enamorus. Do we get the flinch? We do get the flinch. That is... That's okay. What I'm going to do... I'm going to try to Bleak Wind just to connect. And I'm going to Rock Slide again. And this way, too, if Miraidon ends up coming in here and the terrain is gone and it resets it, great. We can always defog it. Chi-Yu is going to Terrestrialize into a Ghost type. They really don't want to take they don't want to take a Rock Slide with this. And you know what? I don't blame them. Because Rock Slide's going to hurt. But we are going to pick up Enamorus. If Tornadus gets to connect the Bleak Wind Storm, that should be it for Chi-Yu. So... we do connect, and that is a knockout. That's great. So, the nice thing here, too, is Miraidon's coming in here. We saw the overheat off of it. So, I do have to be a little bit weary that way, but the electricity is gone. I still have Tailwind. And their Terra is gone, too, which is really nice. So, how many turns of Tailwind do I have left? I have 2 turns. Okay. So, I'm going to just go for a Bleak Wind Storm into Miraidon. I'm going to protect Groudon because I think they go for Torn here. I think being the key word. If they don't, well, that can be a little bit sketchy. But we do get to hit them with the Bleak Wind. Do we get a speed drop into them? We don't. They actually went Overheat instead. All right. So... we got the confirmation that Torn with the Tailwind is faster than the Miraidon, so I think we're going to pop the Terra Fire, and we're just going to click the Precipice Blades. And we do still have the Sun up. I should have paid a little bit more attention to whether we had, how many turns of Sun we had, because I do need Shiftry to be faster than Miraidon to get the Defog, so there is that. So I don't want to take an Overheat, and they aren't taking up Precipice Blades, so, you know, that's not great, but at least we get this, we get the Tailwind, or no, not the Tailwind, sorry, we get the Bleak Wind off, we hit them. So, I just dropped my immunity to Electro Drift with Groudon. My Tailwind is gone. But, you know what's not gone? The sun. So, let's see right here. This is the last turn of sun, which means this is Shiftry's fastest turn right now. We've seen them be able to switch moves, so they might be able to protect. I think what we do here is I think we go for the Fake Out as much as I wanted to go for the Defog, and I think I just go for the Heat Crash. Oh! No Protect, okay. They're Covert Cloak, that's why. Okay. Meaning they wouldn't have gotten the evasion drop anyways. So that's good to know. But Groudon is going to connect with the Heat Crash, so in theory this should be more than enough to knock it out of that range. So good to know it was Covert Cloak Miraidon, which meant we never had a chance of getting a speed drop with the Bleak Wind, but getting to whittle it down with the Bleak Wind Storm was relatively nice, and the evasion would have wore away the electric terrain, so maybe that still would have been safer. But since that was our last turn of Sun, I really did think there was going to be a Protect coming off the Miraidon to just get around that. At least I would have removed the terrain with Defog, so yeah, I think Defog might have been the safer bet, but I'm glad that I have special defense investment in this Groudon, so we were able to live the Electro Drift, so that was nice at the end of the day. Good game to my opponent. Alright, we've got a Koraidon team with Incineroar, Raging Bolt, Tornadus, Fluttermane, and Chi-Yu. So between the two restricteds, there's going to be a lot of heat coming out. Yeah. Okay. Gouging Fire might not be bad. Groudon Gouging Fire could be okay. Groudon and Annihilape could be okay too. Tornadus Annihilape could be nice, especially since they can't fake out Annihilape, and Torn's got the Covert Cloak. Groudon could be really nice for the Precipice Blades into the Incineroar as well as the Raging Bolt. Fluttermane doesn't appreciate a Heat Crash. Groudon just looks really good, all things considered. I don't think Shiftry really makes a difference here. I think we could bring the Gouging Fire instead. Yeah, I think we can maybe do that. Though that said, having Fake Out Pressure could be nice for me too. Except 1, 2, 3, you know what? 5 out of 6 other Pokemon resist Leaf Storm. Let's maybe bring the Gouging Fire. Or we can bring the Iron Moth. There's that. Just saying. You know what? I think we bring the Iron Moth. The Iron Moth's got the Heat Wave to do some decent damage. Sludge Wave could potentially do some decent damage, especially if it's Terra Fairy, Raging Bolt. Noelle, what are you doing? You don't need to nuzzle that. She's behind screen nuzzling the corner of the computer, so if it's a little shaky, that's why. Okay, so we got Fluttermane and Torn with a booster energy going for a special attack. Okay. Is my Annihilape fast enough? I don't think it is. No, it's not. It's only 142. So I might have to pop the Terra Grass. Am I okay with popping the Terra Grass to live this? You know what? I think I'm okay with popping the Terra Grass. If they want to go for just a straight Bleak Wind into Annihilape, that's not great, but I can live it. Now, as far as damaging moves go, I think a Shadow Claw, and I think I Tailwind. I want to get that Fluttermane off the field since we saw the booster energy activate, and then that way too, if we make contact with Fluttermane with this Banded Annihilape, we should be able to knock it out. Torn can only go for one move this turn, whether it's Bleak Wind or Tailwind, so I don't have to worry about the damage there. Protect off Fluttermane's a little bit of a problem for me, but getting my Tailwind up is not the worst thing. They get the Tailwind up off their Torn first, so basically We just have matching Tailwinds. I do have my Shadow Claw locked in. I think what I can do here is I can Bleak Wind with Torn. I could switch Annihilape out if I wanted to, or what I can do is I can go for their Torn, potentially, and I can Bleak Wind. We saw they were faster than my Torn, so what we might be seeing here is a Terra to drop the Ghost weakness off Flutter. So here we go. It is going to be Terra Fairy, which, you know what, I kind of expected that last turn, so I'm not opposed to that. Gouging Fire can bulldoze them, which is not the worst thing imaginable. And Groudon Precipice Blades is going to do a lot of damage. Now, Annihilape goes down regardless, so unfortunately we wasted our Terra, but we do have Tailwind. If we can connect with Bleak Wind and get a speed drop, that'd be nice. They have the Icy Wind coming off of their Torn, but I'm Covert Cloak, so I don't have to worry about that. We get the Bleak Wind right here, and we get a speed drop into the Flutter Mane, so that's going to be really nice for the Iron Moth, and I really want to go for the Sludge Wave. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect Torn, I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave, and we're going to call it there. And then that way too, Iron Moth. Ooh, you know what? Iron Moth 4 times resists Moonblast. I'm going to Sunny Day. And this way too, if Flutter Mane protects, I don't have to worry about that. So Iron Moth is going to be faster, and it's going to connect with this boosted Heat Wave. We get rid of Torn. Unfortunately, we don't get rid of the Flutter Mane, but Sludge Wave is not terrible here. Now, if this is into Torn, this is going to hurt a lot, but that's fine. Iron Moth has Heat Wave. I have Groudon as well. Now, I need to hit the Flutter Mane with Iron Moth because Groudon will not outspeed it. Okay, Raging Bolt. Not a problem, actually, because I can go for the Precipice Blades, Heat Wave. Thunderclap is not going to be a problem. Yeah, I don't mind that, actually. They get a special attack boost, that's fine. I think we Heat Wave, and I think we just Precipice Blades. Now, if we get a Protect out of Flutter Mane and we just chip down Raging Bolt, all the best. If we don't get a Protect out of Flutter Mane, we just take it, great. I have no doubt in the back of my mind that Koraidon's the 4th Pokemon, so we're going to see a Protect, but you know what? We don't see a Thunderclap, so maybe it's a Thunderbolt into Iron Moth, which, you know what? That's fine. We'll get a little bit of chip into them. We don't get a burn. Do we connect the Precipice Blades? We do. All right, so that's a straight knockout into Raging Bolt. That's a critical hit as well. That's explanatory. Yeah, okay. So I have my booster energy. They have theirs. Both Tailwinds are gone. Not that it matters because we hit them at the same time. Koraidon is the last Pokemon here. I think we protect Groudon. I think we Sludge Wave. Koraidon can't Terrastallize. Neither can Groudon. So I'm going to be neutral to Flare Blitz, which is a little bit scary, but they're going to be neutral to Sludge Wave. So I need to be able to survive a Flare Blitz off of Koraidon. And there's no Protect out of Flutter Mane. They don't try to go for the double, so getting rid of Flutter Mane is going to be nice. If we can get Koraidon poisoned, that would be really handy. Now the one problem is Koraidon's got a respectable defense stat, and its attack stat is fairly high. So they just went Collision Course into Groudon. Great. How many turns of Sun do we have left? That's the scary thing. 2 more turns of Sun. Alright, so I think I protect Iron Moth because the special attack damage is going to be really handy here for getting rid of Koraidon. So I think we just try to get this Collision Course, or deal with this Collision Course. There's an Outrage. My opponent's just going for straight up violence here. But we do get to connect the Precipice Blades, so let's see here. That's definitely Sludge Wave range, so we're just going to click that. We're going to hit Groudon a little bit, but that's okay, and we'll just click the Heat Crash just to finish this up. So, no Protect. Great. Iron Moth cleans up right there. So definitely nice to not have to worry about the accuracy of Sludge Wave compared to Heat Wave. Now, honestly, I got really lucky with the Outrage. Because if that had been a Flare Blitz into Groudon, that would have done a lot of damage. But if it had been Flare Blitz, then I wouldn't have had to worry about the recoil, or rather, the recoil would have helped me based off how much damage they would have did in the Groudon. So I'm very happy about that at the end of the day. Good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Groudon Sun team in action. We ended up having 3 really good games up against Zamazenta, Miraidon, and Koraidon. We got to see some Pokemon that we don't typically get to see. We got to see a Sceptile in Game 2, as well as a Namorous Therian. And you know what else we didn't get to normally see? We got to see Shiftry put in some good work today, because Shiftry here was able to hit Zamazenta with Defog, lowering its evasion and letting Groudon get a reliable Precipice Blades. You don't normally have the words accurate and Precipice Blades in the same sentence unless the words is not in there somewhere. So the fact that we were able to get that evasion drop into Zamazenta and then let Groudon hit it with the Precipice Blades was just delightful. Gouging Fire was able to go for Howl next to Groudon in Game 1 as well. So +1 attack Groudon with Precipice Blades into Zamazenta was delightful. Now, we did get paralyzed by the Fluttermane, but that didn't slow Groudon down. We were able to knock out the Rillaboom with a Heat Crash. We were able to do a lot of damage to Chen Pao, not Chi-Yu, I'm getting ahead of myself there. We were able to hit the Chen Pao with a Heat Crash as well, and we were able to basically just whittle down my opponent's team until it was just Zamazenta left. We clicked a Leaf Storm at first with the Shiftry before I realized, oh, I could have hit the Defog, but then we did go for the Defog, getting that evasion drop, and we were able to switch Groudon out into Annihilape, dodge a Body Press, and then Annihilape was able to take a Heavy Slam, no problem, and go for the close combat to finish it off. And I wish I had kind of thought of it at the time, but I mean, it's not really relevant because 2 games later, but I could have clicked the Gunk Shot to try to hit it, which that would have been funny because Annihilape definitely would have knocked it out with the Gunk Shot, but we just went for the close combat just to not mess with the accuracy games because, you know, even when you have the evasion drop, you can still potentially miss. So, that's how RNG works. But anyways, in Game 2, we were able to see Sceptile as well as the Namorous Therian with Miraidon and Chi-Yu. Now, Iron Moth did really good work in that game. I was really unsure how this was going to play out without a Miraidon of my own when I put Iron Moth onto the team, but Iron Moth was able to just obliterate that Sceptile after Shiftry hit it with a Fake Out. We were able to just one-shot that with a Heat Wave. We didn't see any Terrestrialization come out on the Sceptile. We didn't get to see what Sceptile wanted to do, and fortunately, I'm okay with that. Or rather, I guess I should just say I'm okay with that. Anyways, we were able to get rid of Sceptile, Namorous Therian, and Chi-Yu ended up coming in because the Miraidon did go for a Volt Switch after bringing Shiftry down to its Focus Sash with an Overheat. So Iron Moth was able to take that no problem at -2. So we were able to go for the Sludge Wave into the Chi-Yu as well as the Namorous. The Chi-Yu ended up hitting us with a Snarl, which even at the -1 special attack, Iron Moth was able to do a fair amount of damage to the Namorous. We were able to bring in Groudon. We were able to get up a Tailwind with Tornadus. Groudon hit the Namorous with a couple of Rock Slides. We were able to hit the Terra Ghost Chi-Yu with a Rock Slide, and Torn was able to finish it off with a Bleakwind Storm, which was just wonderful. And then we ended up going up against Koraidon and Iron Moth. Again, Iron Moth did a lot of good damage. We were able to just boil it down to an endgame of just Koraidon staring down my Groudon and Iron Moth. And Iron Moth's Sludge Wave just did so much raw damage to the Koraidon. We were able to click a Precipice Blades and connect it because this was the one game that Shiftry didn't come to. We weren't able to go for Defog to get that reliable Precipice Blades, but we were able to hit the Koraidon with a Precipice Blades as well as 2 Sludge Waves, sealing the deal. So overall, I'm very happy with how the team played out at the end of the day. Be sure to let me know what you think of Shiftry as well as the rest of the team down in the comments below, and I will see you there.